When I first saw the new Apple Watch Series 10, I concluded that this was the obvious choice to get between this and the Apple Watch Ultra. It has a bigger display, a thinner body, it has a lighter weight, and to make things worse for the Ultra, it didn't even get an update this year. It's still the same old Apple Watch Ultra 2 from last year, and the only thing that got updated, if you can call it an update, is that it got a new black color. Yep, that's it. But even without an update, and after switching to the Series 10, I can't help but feel like maybe I've got some second opinions. I miss you. Now, before we jump into this video, I just want to say thank you to everyone watching my videos. This September, the channel has been on absolute fire with a ton of views and a ton of subscribers, and I know I don't deserve any of this. You guys are just so awesome, so I just want to thank you. Thank you again for watching. But listen, I'll be honest too. And I know this is a bit of a stretch, but I would love to hit 400,000 subscribers before the end of this year. So do you think we can make that happen? Like what do I have to do? Do I have to shave off all this beautiful head of hair if I get 400,000 subscribers? Will that make it a reality? Because eventually I do kind of want that gold play button. I really need to impress my mom. So subscribe for my mom because she's not going to respect me unless I get that gold play. Okay, she loves me no matter what. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Subscribe. All right, anyway, back to the topic at hand. Now, yes, this video isn't clickbait. I am truly conflicted here because I love what Apple has done here with the Series 10. They have made, without a doubt, the most comfortable Apple Watch that I have ever worn. And that's even more true after coming from the bigger and thicker Apple Watch Ultra. The Series 10 is thinner than any other Apple Watch before it and way thinner when you put it side by side against the Ultra. It just looks like the Series 10 is like 5 years ahead in design from the Ultra. And I'm not saying the design of the Ultra is bad. This is a rugged and sporty design on purpose, but if you just put two side by side, you would kind of go like, oh, the thinner one, maybe that's the more advanced one, that's the more recent one. And the Series 10 on my wrist is a perfect fit. And while I wouldn't say the Ultra is uncomfortable, I can definitely sense its presence on my wrist when I wear it, whereas with the Series 10, it feels like it is molded onto my skin. I also love the new finishes on the Series 10. I opted to go for the new gold titanium color, and I think it strikes the right balance of being, an Apple Watch, but also looking like a well-crafted premium wristwatch. I constantly look down at my wrist, I admire how it looks, and I love when the light hits it just right. It really catches the light so well, and it looks great paired with either a sport band or the gold Milanese loop that mine came with. I also have to give a shout out though to the new jet black aluminum finish on the lower cost model. I actually ordered both a jet black and a titanium gold Apple Watch because I wasn't sure which one I was ultimately going to wear. I thought they both looked really good. The glossy jet black Apple Watch looks more premium than the normal matte aluminum finishes, and it reminds me a lot of the old ceramic black finish on the Apple Watch Edition. I think it's one of the best looking Apple Watches they have ever produced, and it would look good dressed up or dressed down. And it was a really hard choice deciding between these two watches, and I was really close to leaning to jet black this year, but I ultimately went with the gold titanium because I did like the look of it slightly better, and I also like that it has a sapphire display, which is much more scratch resistant than the glass displays on the aluminum models. Now, the actual display this year is really impressive because the display area of the watch is bigger than the 49mm Apple Watch Ultra. But despite having a bigger display, the Series 10 feels smaller. And like I said before, much more comfortable when you're wearing it. The big display is nice and it makes viewing things a little easier, and you really feel the benefits of this larger display when you use your Apple Watch for typing on the keyboard or when you're reading through long messages. I mean, there's not much more to say about the display other than, yes, it is big and it feels like wearing a smaller version of the Apple Watch Ultra, which I think is something a lot of people were kind of asking for, and that's kind of what you get with the Series 10. However, there were also some downsides I was not expecting here. One of those was the brightness on the Series 10. It's actually 1,000 nits dimmer than the old Apple Watch Ultra 2. And while I thought I wouldn't notice this because 2,000 nits is still super bright, well, in bright sunny conditions, I did notice that the Ultra 2 had a much clearer display. The Series 10 also is about 40% brighter when viewed at an angle compared to the Series 9, and I guess it does look more uniform when it's like off axis like that, but compared to the sheer 3000 nit display offered on the Ultra, it still doesn't make up for it. Another huge area of disappointment for me switching to the Series 10 from the Ultra is that the Series 10, despite having a larger display now, does not get access to the really great Apple Watch Ultra watch faces. In particular, I really love the modern Ultra watch face and it displays the digital time, and you can even adjust the bezel to show you different information. I set mine to count down the seconds, which is really useful. And then on top of that, you have access to 6 small complications and then 1 large complication right in the center of the display. It is a really nice looking watch face, and it has a lot of utility, and I got used to having all of that information on my wrist at a glance. I cannot find something comparable on the Series 10. I kind of went with the modular watch face, but I think it looks so uninspired compared to the Apple Watch Ultra. There's also some other updates to the Series 10, like you can now play music through the speakers, and if you go back and watch my old Apple Watch videos, this is actually a feature I requested. It's not something I use a lot, but there are times where I don't want to grab my AirPods and I want to listen to like a snippet of a podcast or something like that, and the speakers on the Series 10, they're surprisingly clear. Like, they're not going to blow you away with sound quality, but they sound a lot better than you would expect for such a small device.
And the thing that both of you didn't mention that I'm sure is absolutely true for all of us is that when we buy stuff from Apple, we use our Apple Card because it's like...
And there's even important health updates like sleep apnea tracking being added to the watch. Unfortunately though, right now as of the making of this video, I haven't passed the 30 days of wearing this watch for sleep tracking to get that diagnosis, but I'll be sure to update you later if that does happen in a video. If I have sleep apnea, I will tell you. The only problem with all of these new features is that, well, the Ultra gets them too in a software update. So despite the Ultra not technically getting a new version, it does get most of the hallmark features on the Series 10. And because I bought my Apple Watch Ultra 2 on launch day a year ago, I still have access to the blood oxygen sensor, which was removed via software on the new Series 10 or any new Apple Watch Ultra. So technically, I have more features on my year-old Apple Watch than I do on a Series 10 I bought like a week ago. And that doesn't feel right. That does not feel right. So Apple, you gotta settle that lawsuit or something. You gotta get that blood oxygen sensor back. You gotta fix that situation. It's a little embarrassing. And then we come to the real differentiator between these watches, something I knew going into this review would be hard to give up: the battery life. The battery life on the Series 10 is the same as it has always been, which usually means charging it every day. Now, I charge my iPhone every day, so plopping the watch down next to it at night to charge, I mean, come on, that's not a big deal, guys. But that is not the way I use my Apple Watch because I have been wearing it for sleep tracking. So this means that I need to walk a delicate balance of making sure I have enough of a charge at night to get through a sleep tracking session, which is usually only about 10 to 15% of my battery life. And then I have to make sure it can last through the whole day, where I probably do need about 80% battery life. Usually I charge my Apple Watch while I'm getting ready in the morning, and it's not that hard to do because, you know, I take a long time on my hair, I'm doing my skincare routine. That can easily take an hour or two. And even if it didn't, the Series 10, you know, it fast charges to 80% in just 30 minutes. So putting it on the charger while you shower, you'll get plenty of charge to last you through a whole day. The only problem I've kind of run into sometimes is if I'm using the Apple Watch a lot that day, especially for workout tracking. If I'm in the gym for like 2 hours and I'm running the workout tracking constantly, it does drain the battery fairly quickly. And I think you can drain that whole battery in just about like 6 to 7 hours of running the workout feature. So sometimes I do need to charge it a little bit at night before sleep tracking. And that means kind of like an inconsistent charging schedule, not something as consistent as charging my phone. And that was not a problem on my Apple Watch Ultra. I could wear this reliably for an entire day or two with multiple hour-long workouts and sleep tracking sessions without having to micromanage my battery life as much. Of course, I would still have to eventually charge it, but I would never have to top off my Ultra at night or something like that. I might have to do that with my Series 10, and that's brand new. As the Series 10 ages, I may have to charge it more frequently as the battery ages and doesn't hold a charge as long. And the funny thing is, the Ultra's battery still performs better than this brand new Series 10, even though it's had a year of usage on it. That's just how much better the battery life is on the Ultra. It's about double the battery life of the Series 10. So, what are my thoughts? Do I regret purchasing my Series 10? Am I gonna go back to my Apple Watch Ultra 2? Well, I don't regret my Series 10 purchase, and I really think it is an admirable upgrade that gets really close in terms of usage and design and features to the Ultra 2 without being big, thick, and chunky. The Series 10 has caught up and surpassed the Ultra in some ways because of how large the display is without sacrificing on comfort, and I have been enjoying that aspect the most on my Series 10. However, I walked away from all of this with a different perspective. Before I used the Series 10, I would have said that the choice was easy to make this year if you were trying to decide between these two watches. I would say just get the Series 10, you get a larger display, it's half the price of the Ultra if you're getting the aluminum version, and the Ultra 2, didn't get an upgrade, the SE didn't get an upgrade, the Series 10 was the only watch to get an upgrade this year. So before I would say just skip the Ultra. But that's not true. The Ultra 2, despite being a year old, it holds up, and I'm quite shocked at how well the Ultra has aged. And despite it not getting a hardware update, it still is a watch I can recommend easily to people that want a more sportier or a more durable watch, or just want that more rugged look. And honestly, for those that just want excellent battery life on their Apple Watch. It is truly a game changer. So yes, while I'm still planning to wear the Series 10, I'm also not planning to get rid of my Apple Watch Ultra. I plan to keep it, and maybe I'll wear it some days rather than my Series 10. It's actually really easy to own multiple Apple Watches now and switch between them. It's almost like owning a real watch collection at this point, which may sound like a waste of money to keep two watches, but as a collector of tech and kind of almost treating it like traditional analog watch world, it's actually kind of cool as well. I'm actually in the market for like an old ceramic Apple Watch, the white one, because I really like the look of it and they haven't brought it back yet. So Apple, if you're watching this video, I know you're not, bring back the ceramic edition for the Series 11. I will buy that, even if there's like a new Apple Watch Ultra that year. All right, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't worry, the Apple Watch Ultra is rugged. It survived that easily. And I hope it helped you out a lot. If it did, please leave me a like, sub for more, and I'll catch you all in the next one real soon.